And I guess you could say then it has a massive cliffhanger. Hey everybody, Colton here, and welcome to part 2 of this Alex Perez Cosmic Circus Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars Q&A that he did. Alex Perez, a somewhat reliable leaker. I'd have to look into it of whether he's more right or wrong, which one is more often. But a somewhat reliable leaker, claims to have some inside knowledge. A lot of you guys sent me this Q&A, wanted me to go over it. So I thought I would do that. We already did the Doomsday section. Now we're doing the Secret Wars section. So let's get started. Laser Gum writes, "Hello, Alex and Lizzie. Thanks for doing these as always. My question for this month is, are all of the projects coming out this year, such as Wonder Man, VisionQuest, Daredevil Born Again, Season 2, Spider-Man Brand New Day, are they all tying into those characters returning in Secret Wars instead of Doomsday? Meaning they won't be in Doomsday, but they will be in Secret Wars." Alex responds, "Some will, some won't. Brand New Day and VisionQuest are in the yes category." Okay, Brand New Day and VisionQuest are in the yes category. That's 2 of the 4 dude mentioned. So the other 2 are Wonder Man and Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Does that mean they're in the no category? I wonder what their plans for Wonder Man are. Daredevil has to be in Secret Wars, right? And Punisher. You gotta put them in Secret Wars. Don't you? Come on. I think you gotta put them in Secret Wars. Can see Charles writes, "Hello, Alex and Lizzie. Always a pleasure. What are the chances Secret Wars will be split into 2 parts?" Before I even read Alex's response, I want to say that I read those recent reports that they were going to split Secret Wars into 2 movies. Now, I want to be clear when I give my answer to this. I have always felt that Doomsday and Secret Wars should be a trilogy. What I mean by that is, yes, do Doomsday, do then perhaps another Avengers movie in between, and then do Secret Wars, like you could do a Time Runs Out or something, or do Secret Wars and then Secret Wars 2. Whatever it is, I think a trilogy, and don't release any bullshit in between. You can release bullshit in between, like we've seen them, like Captain Marvel was great. I liked Captain Marvel, whatever, and I liked Ant-Man and the Wasp. Those were released in between Avengers movies, but I think that don't even do that. And when I say bullshit, I don't mean that in a mean way, just nothing. Even if it's a great show, a great movie, whatever, release nothing in between. I think if you do Doomsday, Secret Wars, and then another movie, or just 3 Avengers movies in a row that are connected and lead right into each other, and you don't have to watch anything else to watch them, don't even have the option of there being other stuff, that's watch just a trilogy. I think you rival Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all these other trilogies, and do a true Marvel trilogy that has no other required viewing except for what has, of course, come before Doomsday. Then, of course, some of that's going to be required viewing. But not if you make the movie right. Make it to where... I want a Marvel trilogy that you can just start with Doomsday and watch this trilogy of Doomsday, Secret Wars 1, Secret Wars 2, or whatever, Secret Wars. That would be so cool, because we have yet to have an MCU trilogy that's a true trilogy. I get in these conversations about, oh, what's the better superhero trilogy, the Cap trilogy or the Nolan Batman trilogy, or, whatever. I don't consider the Cap trilogy truly a Cap trilogy, because you can't watch Captain America 2, really, without having seen the Avengers. And you can't watch Captain America Civil War without having seen Avengers Age of Ultron, and Iron Man 2 and 3. You can't watch those movies without missing a shit ton of information. So I don't consider it a true trilogy. So that's what I want them to do with these Avengers movies, and I think it'd be a smart financial move as well. All right, so and before I read Alex's, I want to say this idea of splitting them. You don't split movies. Movies have an arc. You can't really cut a movie in half, really. I mean, I guess you can. I think they kind of did that with Kill Bill, right? And I guess you could say then it has a massive cliffhanger. But I think when you take a movie that's maybe, it's clocking in at like nearly 4 hours, like 3 hours and 50 minutes. And they're like, let's just cut it in half. Well, then you have to completely restructure both movies for that to work. You can't just cut it down the middle and release them like that, typically. because now this new one has to have like certain setups. You know, if people have been gone for, haven't seen the other one in a year or whatever, I think it cripples each movie when you do that. So you have to restructure them both, which perhaps they can do that. So maybe they have like enough story idea that they're like, hey, this is really 2 movies worth of stuff, and then we need to pad it to make them both work as their own movies. Fine, sure. But I kind of think that maybe they've been kicking around the idea of doing 2 Secret Wars movies for a while. And maybe that therefore means, like in the same sense that Star Wars was originally 1 movie, but then George just had to take the first act and make that 1 movie, but he still wanted it to end with the Death Star blowing up, so he moved that back into the first part. Yes, there would be some restructuring. So if that's what you mean by split, then sure. But I think they've always kind of been kicking around the idea of maybe doing 2 Secret Wars movies, 3 big Avengers movies, instead of just doing the 2 like Infinity War Endgame. Instead of doing just the 2 Doomsday Secret Wars, do 3 and you make a shit ton of money. Doing it that way, I think they'll all make at least $2 billion. So instead of $4 billion, you make $6 billion, and perhaps not for much more cost, especially if you make them at the same time. Anyway, let's read Alex's answer. The current rumor running around is that Secret Wars is going to be split into 2 parts. I'd like to pile on that rumor and say that there's a very high chance that they could. Okay. And the reason why is that over the last few days, the team here at the Cosmic Circus has been monitoring updates for developments on multiple Marvel projects and have discovered that Avengers Secret Wars, which was originally approved to start in the coming months, has now ground into what is known as a conditional start phase. Essentially, it means that Marvel cannot legally film anything for Secret Wars until a new verification of the contract is achieved. In the few instances that this has happened, it's because there has been a massive shift from what the production was originally looking like. For example, like 1 film now being split into 2 parts. Cool. All right. The Whistler writes, what can you tell us about Bob's role in the MCU past Secret Wars, Bob being Sentry? Thanks for your question. As for Bob, I can't comment on anything about his role post Secret Wars just yet. I find this interesting that Alex, he'll just completely like tell you something that it seems like, you know, it's a huge spoiler, shouldn't be able to disclose that information. But then on other things, he's like, oh, I can't talk about that yet. I wonder if it's because there are certain things that if he reveals it, Marvel would be able to pinpoint how he knows. Like, I wonder if there are some things that he's like, if I confirm or deny or give this information, Marvel won't be able to pinpoint that it's me giving the answer or my source where I'm getting it. But if I reveal this answer, they will be able to pinpoint my source or something. Maybe that's the reason. Toastiff. Hello. Now that it seems Avengers Doomsday could be the first film in a new trilogy, would a third movie after Secret Wars just be the studio stretching the story by splitting it into 2 films, or would it be a genuine follow-up that continues that story? Again, I think it would be that they probably have an idea of how Secret Wars ends, and they would then boot that to the end of the 3rd film, and then certain parts of Secret Wars would get put into the other movie, but there would have to be a lot of new stuff created, I think, for the additional movies. But Alex writes, the trilogy, if it happens, would be to extend the multiverse saga leading into its conclusion. Okay. All right, and that's it for part 1 of Alex Perez's February 2026 Q&A. Part 2 will be available in a few days. Oh, okay. Well, then I'll keep an eye out for that. I, for some reason, always forget or don't see it. So if you guys want to send it in when it comes through, askcoltonnow@gmail.com. That'd be great, and we'll take a look at it then. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.